Welcome to another video of Engineer Explains. And so in this video, we will be solving one-step equations. And so what do I mean by solving one-step equations? So these are just the basics of finding unknowns, okay? We will build into it as we go along. And so what does the word solve mean, right? Solve, okay? So basically, in algebra, you always have an unknown number. So let's say we had x plus 5, which is equals to 12. All right. And so what is the purpose of this equation? So the goal is not to calculate the left side on its own. It is to solve for the unknown that we have here, which is x, right? And so let us solve here. Let's just quickly solve. So x here is equals to 12 minus 5. I want you to understand something here. If we have this positive number, which is 5, right? If we are solving for this x right here, and we must get rid of any number that is next to the x, right? Which is now, in this case, the 5, right? When we are removing this 5, let's say you had 5 apples, right? If you want to remove these 5 apples, you must eat them or get rid of them somehow. And so positive of 5 must be removed by a negative of 5, right? And so in this example of x plus 5, which is equals to 12, I'm removing from this side, right? So that is basically minusing by 5. And so what I do on the left hand side, I must also do on the left hand side. And so that is what we call transposing, right? Transposing is basically just removing whatever is on this side to the other side, right? And so we do that by the analogy of using the opposite of whatever sign the number that we have next to the unknown number, right? And so let's say, for example, you had 3x, which is equals to 12, okay? So this is basically multiplication, right? In multiplication, the opposite of multiplication is division, right? And so we are going to use the opposite of multiplication to solve for this x, right? And so 3 times x, now we are going to divide by 3 on both sides, okay? So that is the analogy. And so this 3 cancels this 3, right? And so what is 12 divided by 3? 12 divided by 3 is 4. So let's make another example. Let's make another example. Let's say we had x minus 5, which is equals to 10, right? In this example, we have a minus sign, right? And so when we want to transpose or get rid of this minus 5, we use the opposite of that sign that we have. And so the opposite of minus is plus, right? And so if now we have this x minus 5, we must say plus 5. And so a minus 5 and a plus 5, they basically cancel each other out. And remember, what we do on the left, we must also do on the right. What did we do on the left? We added a 5, right? And so what we have now here is this plus 5 on this 10. So that is basically x is equal to 10 plus 5, which is 15, right? And so that is our x, right? So that is basically the analogy of solving, right? So even on division as well, let's say we had x divided by 3, which is equals to, let's say, 15, right? If now we want to get rid of the division of 3, right, we must multiply by 3, right? Because now we are using the opposite of whatever number is next to the unknown, right? So if we are dividing by 3, so in other words, this is the same as x divided by 3, which is equals to 15. So now you are going to say x divided by 3 times 3. And so these are going to cancel each other out, okay? That is the analogy we are working with, all right? And remember, what you do on the left, you must also do on the right, right? So times by 3 also on this side, right? So x is equals to, what is 15 times 3? You can figure that one out on your own. I think it's 45, right? Yes, I think so. I think so. I think so. Um, so let's get straight into the main idea. The main idea is to isolate the variables. Isolate the variables, right? So if you do not know what is a variable, you can check out my other videos which explain variables, terms, coefficients, constants, and everything in my introduction videos to algebra. Okay. And so isolate means you get the variable alone on one side. Okay. Get the variable alone on one side. That is the key idea. All right. So let's say we had x plus 5, which is equals to 12, right? This is from our first example as well. And so currently x here in this example, x is not alone. The plus 5 is attached to it and we need to remove it, right? And so ask yourself, what is the opposite of adding 5? The opposite of adding 5 is to subtract that 5. Because a plus 5 minusing a 5 is 0, right? And so if now we can get the left hand side, so remember this is the left hand side, right? If we can get the left hand side to say x plus 0, that is basically x on its own standing alone. And so that is the idea of isolating the variable, right? We have discussed this openly in the previous discussion, right? And so let's start by one step of addition equation, right? One step addition. One step addition. So x plus 4 is equals to 9, right? So we're just making a few examples, right? Examples, right? So let's say we're x plus 4, which is equals to 9. So now the idea is to solve for x, right? And if you want to solve x in this equation, ask yourself, what do you have on the left hand side? You have x plus a 4. And we want to isolate the x, right? And so what you do is that you do the opposite of whatever is next to the x. And so you have a plus 4. What do you need to do now? You need to subtract 4, right? So that is the opposite of, let me just write it down here. X is, the plus sign is right next to the negative sign, right? And the multiplying sign is right next to the division sign, right? You think of it like this, there are opposites of each other, right? Think of it like this, right? This is the analogy that you must have in your mind for the rest of your life, right? The opposite of plus is minus, and the opposite of multiplication is division, right? So coming back here, we are going to remove the plus 4. How do we remove the plus 4? You minus 4, okay? So x plus 4 minus a 4. So you see what we did here. We are removing this 4 by right next to that plus 4, putting the negative or the opposite of whatever the plus 4 is, right? And the opposite of that plus 4 is minus 4. Okay, I'm just walking you through this. And remember, what you do on the left hand side, you must do on the right hand side. Minus 4 as well here next to that 9. And so it is now x, remember, plus 4 and the minus 4, they cancel each other out, okay? And so now you are left with a 0. You don't write the 0. It is very unnecessary to say plus 0. That is very unnecessary, right? Because that's just plusing nothing, okay? All right. So x is equals to 9 minus 4. And 9 minus 4 is basically 5. Right. Yes. So that is one step addition. So let's do one step subtraction. One step subtraction is saying x minus 7. This is just an example. So x minus 7 is equals to 10. If now we are given this expression on the left hand side and this expression on the right hand side with an equal sign, that makes an equation. Remember that one, okay? And so in this equation, it is saying x minus 7 is equals to 10, right? What do I need to do to isolate the x on the left hand side? The left hand side contains x minus 7. Ask yourself that. What do I need to do to isolate this negative 7? To isolate this, x, to isolate the x, you need to do the opposite of whatever is next to that x, right? And so we have a minus 7. What do you need to do? Do the opposite of minusing 7, which is plusing 7, right? So x minus 7 plus 7. So that is the analogy that you must have in your mind. Do the opposite of whatever is right next to the x to isolate it, okay? And remember, what you do on the left hand side, you must do on the right hand side. 10 plus 7, we added the 7, right? And so you do that on both sides. So x is equal to, remember, negative 7 plus a 7 is 0. You don't need to write that 0, okay? So x is now equal to 10 plus 7, which is 17, right? And so let me just give you a random example. So let's say we had x. Let's say we had x plus 12, which is equal to 17. This is a random example, okay? So isolate the x very fast. Do this one very fast in your mind. We have a plus 12, so you remove that 12. So x is equal to 17 minus 12. So you must be doing this very fast right now, okay? So this the answer here, x is equal to 5. You must do this very fast in your mind. You don't even need to think now. So the main idea here is to say, let's restart, okay? X plus 12, which is equal to 17. X, you are going to transpose this to the other side and change that sign, okay? So we had a plus 12, we are going to say minus 12, okay? You are no longer in the junior phase now, you are going along with this thing. So x is equal to 5, all right. So let's say for example you had x minus 5, which is equal to 10. Take this negative 5, put it on the other side, and it's going to be a positive 5, right? And so so x is going to be 10 plus 5, all right? So that is the idea, okay? So x is equals to 15. That is the idea, all right? That is the idea. All right. So maybe you were taught like this in your class or something. So let's do now one step multiplication. One-step multiplication is like this: 3x is equals to 15. If you have 3x which is equals to 15, remember this 3x is 3 times that x, okay? It is 3 times that x, not just 3x on its own and then that's final. It is 3 times x, which is equals to 15. So this is a term that consists of a coefficient and a variable, okay? Okay, so they are multiplying each other, right? So 3x, which is equal to 15, I wanted to just, really grasp this. That is why I wrote this about. And so if we have 3x, which is equal to 15, you are going to do the opposite of multiplication, right? And so the opposite of multiplication is division. And so if we have 3 times x, we are going to say now x divided by 3, or 3x divided by 3 rather, I would say. So divide by 3 on both sides, right? Because remember, what you do on the left, you do on the right, okay? So is, so now you are going to cancel these 3's, and so x is equal to 15 divided by 3, and 15 divided by 3 is 5, right? And so basically that is our x is equal to 5 in this example. So that is it just for our one-step multiplication. Let me make another example. Let's say we had 5x, which is equals to 30, right? And so here, one step, divide by 5 on both sides, right? You see, the 5's cancel each other, right? And so x is equal to 30 divided by 5, which is 6. So that is our x value, right? So let's go back. I want to show you something. 5 into, in the place of x, put that 6. What is 5 times 6? It is 30. So that is the key idea here, right? So let's do our one-step division. One step. All right. So division is saying x divided by 4 is equals to 6. Right. This is just an example, okay? My handwriting. Ah, example. Okay. X divided by 4 is equals to 6. And so if x is being divided by 4, ask yourself what is the opposite of dividing, which is in this case multiplication, okay? And so x divided by 4, so now you need to multiply by 4, right? So you get the idea. So if we have x divided by 4, we are going to multiply by 4, which is equals to 6. And so this is very similar to what we did in one-step multiplication. And so if you have these numbers standing like this, right, it is the same as x times 4 all over 4, which is equals to 6. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged when you see something like this, okay? So the 4's do cancel each other, right? Remember what you do on the left hand side, okay? What you did on the left hand side, you must also do on the right hand side. What you did here was to multiply by 4, and we are multiplying by 4 as well. And so 6 times that 4, right? So x is equals to, what is 6 times 4? And that is 24, I think. Yes, I think. And so for checking the solutions, this is a habit that separates strong algebra students. For example, let us solve for x let's check. This is our checking. So let's say with x plus 6, which is equals to 10, right? So let's solve this very fast. Let's solve for x, okay? So x is equals to 10 minus 6, which is basically 4, right? So x is equals to 4, right? So that is the idea, right? You get it. So let's check now. 4 plus 6. What is 4 plus 6? 4 plus 6 is 10. So you can verify. That's just basically how you verify an answer, right? And therefore, it is true, it is correct that our x is indeed 4, right? Because the left hand side is equals to the right hand side. Come back for more videos where we will be going in depth, not just doing one step, but in the next video we will be doing 2 steps. I'm not going to be rushing you. We are just going to take this in baby steps. And so I want you to know that solving equations is about keeping the balance, right? And so the variable is not moved randomly. We use the opposite operations to remove everything that is attached to it until the variable stands alone. And so in this video, we solve the one-step equation. In the next video, we will combine these ideas and solve equations that require multiple steps. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. It will greatly help me. See you all in the next video. Thank you.